You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to an attorney. I hate donuts. Can't stand the things.
It turns out Miranda rights are weaker than we think, and the cops are often using legal loopholes against us. On the road, while we're being arrested, and even at the police station. But before you understand why these loopholes are legal, let's do a quick Miranda Rights 101. So the Fifth and Sixth Amendments exist to help protect average people like you and me from the police and the courts and prosecutors. Those are men and women who know the law and are supposed to apply it evenly, but also could abuse the law against us. Specifically, the Fifth and Sixth Amendments protect Americans' rights to not incriminate ourselves and to have legal counsel during criminal proceedings. And in the Supreme Court case, Miranda versus Arizona, it was decided that the police must warn citizens about their rights to try to make the whole system fair. And that's where we have this concept of Miranda rights. But there's a giant loophole. Cops only need to read us our rights before a custodial interrogation, which means Miranda rights don't cover every situation or encounter with the police. For example,
license and registration, please. How much have you had to drink today?
You clearly don't have the right to an attorney while you're on the side of the road with America's favorite cop. And worse still, Officer Andy doesn't have to read you your Miranda rights at this point. Because a routine traffic stop is also known as a Terry stop, which is fancy lawyer talk that means you're not free to leave, but you're not actually in police custody. The name comes from the famous case, Terry versus Ohio. And since a Terry stop isn't a custodial interrogation, the police don't have to read you your Miranda rights before questioning you in this situation. Do you still have the right to remain silent? Yes. Will anything you say still be used against you in a court of law? Yes. Does the officer have to remind you of any of that? Nope. And this is how the cops will often use this legal loophole against you.
Where are you heading to this evening? Have you had anything to drink today? Should we carve Joe Biden into Mount Rushmore?
This officer is fishing for information. He may suspect you did something, and he's using this legal loophole to try to obtain evidence against you. Or he may not suspect anything. He may just literally be casting lines in the water to see if anything's out there and if he's going to get a bite. But if he does find information that hurts you, he's going to take your relationship to the next level.
Please step out of the car for me and place your hands behind your back. You're under arrest for DUI.
And now you're in police custody. And if he doesn't read you your rights, you win the case, right? Wrong. I know many officers who purposefully do not read your Miranda rights when they arrest you for something like a DUI, precisely because they've already asked all the important questions that they intend to ask. But do you still have the right to remain silent? Yes. Will anything you say still be used against you in a court of law? Yes. Is the officer required to remind you of that? Nope. You are in custody, but if they're not actually questioning you, you're not being subject to a custodial interrogation. So, another loophole. You don't need to be read your Miranda rights at this point. If they don't ask you any questions, they're not interrogating you. If they're not interrogating you, anything that pours out of your mouth is voluntary. If it's voluntary, they don't have to read you your Miranda rights, and it's going to come into evidence against you. But what about at the police station? Don't the cops have to ask my name and things like where I live? Your Miranda rights are about to fail you yet again. Let's say you're in custody at the police station, and because you subscribe to this channel, you don't talk to the police. So the cops assume your name is John Smith based on the vehicle registration for the vehicle you were pulled over driving. The police process you, take your fingerprints, and tell you to sign the fingerprint card that has John Smith printed across the top. But your name is not John Smith. Isn't this a violation of the Fifth Amendment? Isn't this forcing you to incriminate yourself by either signing a false fingerprint card or giving up your real identity? Shouldn't your Miranda rights protect you in this situation? Nope. Anything you say or do while being booked at the police station can come in against you under a Miranda loophole called the routine booking questions. As long as the police are following their routine booking procedures, they can ask you questions such as your name, address, and date of birth, and they don't have to read you your Miranda rights at all before beginning these questions. The answers to these questions will be used against you later in court, and Miranda isn't going to save you. In fact, things you say or do in this situation can get you into more trouble. There's a Virginia court case where James Watts signed a fake name to a jail form. Even though the jailer knew there was a question about the individual's identity when he was instructing him to sign the form, the court still allowed the form into evidence against Mr. Watts because it was part of the jail's routine booking procedures. So even though he was essentially forced to incriminate himself, he was still able to be convicted of forging a public public document, which is a load of constitutional mockery. But wait, you have the right to an attorney, right? And you get a phone call. Nope, not yet. Life isn't like Law and Order. Us attorneys do work many long hours late into the evening, but we don't usually spend those hours going to the police station to free our clients from the clutches of the cops. We have families and need sleep, just like you. But legally, your right to an attorney only exists during an actual police interrogation when you're in custody or in court. You don't have a right to an attorney during these routine booking questions or in the breath test room. However, once court starts rolling around, you definitely have the right to counsel, and you should avail yourself of that right. If all this steams your clams, check out my next video to learn how to spot the lies that police use to manipulate you. And in case you forgot, don't talk to the police.